What is up, everybody? This is Jordan from Poison Noises, and today I just wanted to share with you our rules for the JHS drinking game. This is something we put together a little while ago, but we figured in honor of them recently showing our Overdrive the Crook on their show in 2 different episodes, this would be a fun time to share with you guys as well. If you watch the show as relentlessly as I do, this game's going to make a little more sense to you, as most of the rules are based around funny things that happen in the episodes time and time again. However, if you've never seen the show before, you can still just pick up this list, pretty much put on any random episode and have a good time with your friends. If you missed any of the episodes where we got a shout out, feel free to check out the links below, subscribe to us, and subscribe to JHS. Now, without further ado, I recommend you grab some friends, grab some beverage, and find your favorite episode of the JHS show and see how far you can get into this one. For anyone that cares, my drink of choice for this game lately has been Jim Beam and Coca-Cola. Okay, let's blaze through some of the obvious ones. Every time they use a stinger, you take a sip. These things come up all the time. This is probably going to be the most frequent rule out of all of them. If you don't know what a stinger is, in most cases, it's just some kind of animated text that flies across the screen. On the JHS show, you'll see things like, "He has the box," or "Shameless plug." They have tons of them. I didn't realize how frequent this one was, but every time they comment on Addison or Joshua's hair, it doesn't feel like something that would happen very often, but it actually kind of happens like every other episode for some reason. I will say, however, it is always a compliment of some sort, so there's some positive demeanor behind it. This next rule is actually the one that kind of started the game for me, because I didn't realize how frequently this happens, and it is all the time. Anytime Josh looks directly into the camera and says, "It's fine," when it's very clearly not fine, when whatever it is actually very clearly bothering him, take a sip. This one's not nearly as frequent, but it does happen sometimes. Anytime Josh says the thing that's like written on his shirt, you take a sip. Very often you see him wearing t-shirts that have like Hot Topic pedal words like "True Bypass" or something on it, and you'll find he usually wears them in coordination with whatever they're talking about on the show. All right, and this one's just a personal pet peeve of mine, but anytime anyone on the show refers to a fader as a slider, take a sip of your beverage. This probably shouldn't bother me as much as it does, especially because so many people in the pedal industry refer to them as sliders, but as someone that started in the production field before I even got into pedals, it drives me nuts. Every time Josh name drops another well-known pedal builder, take a sip. He pretty much knows like everybody in the pedal industry at this point, so you're gonna hear a lot of Brian Wampler, you're gonna hear him talk about Robert Keeley a lot, you're gonna hear him talk about Jamie from Earthquaker, and like just tons more people that I couldn't even begin to list off. This one kind of only plays out in like some of the later episodes, but every time that Josh mentions that he's a better slide guitar player than Rhett Shull. Rhett Shull is another really popular pedal YouTuber. I definitely recommend going on his channel and subscribing as well. For whatever reason, Rhett and Josh seem to have like this kind of fake beef that's really always funny to me. At least I'm assuming it's fake. Maybe these dudes actually hate each other, but I've seen them on episodes together, so I don't think so. Every time one of them forgets to mute their mic before they start jamming. This one's really easy to pick up on because 9 times out of 10, Nick will yell at them for it. Okay, every time Josh curses Sony or just the camera in front of him for the autofocus being bad or for just not focusing in general. This is a problem that unfortunately I can also really relate to. This might not be as funny to everyone else as it is to me, but Josh Scott has this one particular phrase that he says in a couple of his episodes, and he's also said it on like other people's shows before, and it's always very funny to me. Anytime he like picks up a Stratocaster, he makes mention of the fact that he is so tall that the Stratocaster looks like a mandolin on him. And like, yeah, he's like a really tall guy, so I totally understand where he's coming from, but it's just like this one particular phrase that he says all the time that every time I hear it, I'm like, oh, he said it again. Okay, so everything I've mentioned up until this point, you're just supposed to take 1 sip of your beverage. But these next few things I'm about to list off actually require you to finish your drink. Obviously, you can play this however you want to. This is just the way that I do it. Okay, if record time has more than 1 record at the end of the episode, you have to finish your drink. It doesn't happen very often, but it's a nice way to punctuate the game if it does. Also, if the record contained an artist that was previously mentioned in the episode, finish your drink. This one's definitely for like the more seasoned players and probably will be a little bit harder for you if you've never seen the show before. Essentially, the rule is that whenever He Has the Box flies across the screen, anyone who doesn't sing it in tandem with them has to drink. Okay, the timing for this is actually way easier than you think it would be. Before that stinger shows up, inevitably someone always says, "Oh, do you have the box?" or "I actually have the box," or some derivative of that. Okay, these are like bonus social rules to keep the game fresh in case you've played it a bunch of times already, or for some reason you're not getting as drunk as you should be, which at the end of the day is the point of a drinking game. But here's a couple of things you can add on to the game if you feel it's getting a little stale. Okay, if you've owned a pedal that they are showing on the show and no one else has owned one before, everyone else has to drink. The first person to mention that Nick is wearing either sunglasses or some kind of a silly hat is the only person who doesn't have to drink. And lastly, this has been a more fun one for recent episodes, but the first person to answer Ernie Ball trivia time correctly does not have to drink, and everyone else in the room has to finish theirs. Obviously, do this responsibly. It's just supposed to be a means to having fun and another reason to watch the JHS show. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments if you ended up playing this game, and let me know which episodes ended up yielding the best results for you. But thanks so much. We'll see you next time.